Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something real. What do you do when somebody crosses that line? When someone talks to you like you ain't worth nothing, rolls their eyes at your presence, throws shade in public, or tries to tear you down behind your back? Most people, they snap, they clap back, they raise their voice, get petty, or try to match the disrespect. But let me tell you something powerful. The real grown folks, the real kings and queens, they don't play that game. They don't go back and forth with people who already showed they don't know how to act. See, silence after disrespect isn't weakness. It's control, it's class, it's power. You don't need to scream to be heard. Sometimes the strongest thing you can say is nothing at all. Because when you stay quiet after disrespect, you're not letting them win. You're making it clear you don't even see them as competition. This ain't about letting people walk over you. This is about knowing who you are so deeply that nobody can drag you out of character. It's about choosing peace over petty. It's about stepping so high that the foolishness can't even reach you. And if you've ever been disrespected, if you've ever had to bite your tongue when you knew you could tear somebody down with one sentence, then this is the message you need. I'm about to give you 6 truths, 6 keys that will change the way you handle disrespect forever. You want peace, you want power, you want to grow and not be bothered by nonsense. Then stay right here. Because once you learn to stay quiet after disrespect, you don't just protect your peace. You elevate your entire life. When someone disrespects you, every part of you wants to speak up. Your pride jumps up, your ego gets loud, your emotions start rising. You want to prove yourself. You want to show them they messed with the wrong one. You want to clap back, make it known, get that last word in. That's human nature. But let me tell you the truth. The loudest one in the room isn't always the strongest. Sometimes it's the one who stays calm, the one who doesn't react, the one who knows that silence can cut deeper than any insult ever could. Because here's what most people don't realize: when you shout back at disrespect, you step down to their level. You let that person drag you into their storm, and now what? You're both yelling. You're both angry, and nothing gets solved. But when you stay quiet, when you pause, breathe, and don't take the bait, you stay in control. You keep your power. You don't hand it over to someone who already showed they don't respect you. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. Silence is not you backing down. Silence is not you being afraid. Silence is a choice. It's a decision to not let someone else dictate your behavior. You are saying, I don't owe you my energy. I don't need to react to be heard. I know my worth, and I refuse to get dirty trying to prove it. You want to win? Keep your cool. Watch how silence makes a fool louder. They'll expose themselves while you stay calm, collected, and unbothered. See, people expect noise. They expect you to lash out. They expect you to throw shade back. That's what they're hoping for, because it gives them power. It pulls you into their chaos. But when you stay quiet, it confuses them. It frustrates them. They don't know what to do with calm strength. And that's where your real power lies, in being unshakable, in choosing silence, not because you can't speak, but because you've already risen above the mess. Let me give you something even deeper. Silence gives you time. Time to think. Time to process. Time to respond, not react. And there's a big, big difference. Reaction is emotional. It's instant. It's messy. But response, that comes from maturity. It's thoughtful. It's grounded. When you're silent, you're not ignoring. You're observing. You're giving yourself space to see the full picture. And that space can save you from saying something you'll regret, from burning a bridge, or from making a situation worse than it already is. And here's something else. Silence is protection. Sometimes the best way to keep your peace is to keep your mouth shut. You don't owe everyone an explanation. You don't need to clear up every rumor or defend every action. Let people talk. Let them misunderstand you. Let them assume. The people who matter will know your heart, and the ones who don't, they're not your problem. Silence protects your energy, your dignity, and your mental health. Not every battle is worth fighting. Not every insult deserves a comeback. Now, I'm not saying you never speak up for yourself. I'm not saying you let people walk over you. But there's a difference between speaking with strength and reacting out of emotion. Silence doesn't mean you don't handle the situation. It just means you handle it with strategy, not with shouting. You move wisely. You keep your standards high. And when the time is right, if it's worth your words, you speak with purpose, not with heat. You have to ask yourself, is this person's opinion worth my peace? Is this argument going to build me up or break me down? 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. And if that's the case, silence is the real victory. That's how you stay in control. That's how you walk away without feeling drained or ashamed. That's how you show them and yourself that you've grown past the point of reacting to every bit of disrespect that comes your way. So next time somebody disrespects you, pause, take a breath, smile if you have to, and walk away. Let your silence be your message. Let your maturity be your strength. And remember this, the loudest reaction is often the weakest response. But silence, that's power, that's peace, and that's how you win. Your energy is one of the most valuable things you have. It's not just about how much you can do in a day. It's about what you give your attention to, your emotions to, your time to. And the truth is, every time you let someone pull you into their drama, their negativity, or their disrespect, you are handing over your power. Every single time you respond to nonsense, argue with a fool, or try to prove yourself to someone who doesn't value you, you're spending energy you'll never get back. That energy is your strength. You can use it to build your dreams, grow your mindset, protect your peace. Or you can waste it trying to make someone who disrespected you understand your worth. See, when someone disrespects you, the most natural thing to do is react. You feel disrespected, so you want to fight back. But in doing that, you're giving that person control over your emotions. You're letting them press buttons they should never have access to. When they know they can get a rise out of you, they know they can play with your peace. And now you're not leading your life anymore. You're reacting to theirs. You have to learn to protect your energy the same way you protect your money, your house, your car, your family. If someone tried to rob you, you'd defend yourself, right? So why is it any different when someone is trying to rob your peace? Every time you allow disrespect to dictate your behavior, you are letting someone steal from you. You might not see it at first, but little by little, it adds up. Suddenly, you're tired, you're frustrated, you're drained. Not because of what's happening in your life, but because of what you're choosing to engage with. This is where silence becomes your shield. It's how you draw the line. When you stay quiet, when you don't react, when you decide not to give that person your energy, you're saying, I control my emotions, not you. That's real strength. That's self-respect. And trust me, the people who are really secure in themselves, they don't need to get loud. They don't need to explain themselves to people who already made up their minds. They move with grace, and they protect their energy like it's sacred, because it is. Let me put it this way, you only get so much fuel in a day. Where are you pouring it? Into your goals, your growth, your healing, or into pointless arguments and toxic people who wouldn't care if you burned out tomorrow. You have to be honest about who and what you're giving your power to. Not everyone deserves access to your mind or your mood. If someone's words or actions can flip your whole spirit in a second, that's a sign you've got to tighten your boundaries and take your energy back. Sometimes the best response to disrespect is to simply remove yourself from the situation, mentally, emotionally, or physically. No dramatic exit, no loud goodbye, just silence, just space. Because you know what happens when you stop feeding something? It stops growing. When you stop giving your energy to people who thrive off attention and reaction, they lose their grip on you. They can't drain you if you don't plug in. And listen, this isn't always easy. Sometimes your pride wants to show up and say, I'm not going to let them get away with that. But here's the thing. Walking away is not letting them win. It's choosing to win a bigger battle, the one for your peace, your focus, your future. Because you cannot rise if you're constantly weighed down by people who live in the basement of drama and disrespect. You've got goals, dreams, responsibilities. You've got people who love you, people who need you at your best. Don't trade all that just to prove a point to someone who doesn't even matter in the big picture. Your energy is your power. Spend it wisely. Spend it on things that grow you, not things that drain you. And when you get tested, because you will choose silence, choose peace, choose growth. Because nothing and no one is worth more than your well-being. And once you learn to guard your energy, like your life depends on it, your life will start to change. One of the most freeing things you'll ever learn in life is this: not everyone deserves a response. Just because somebody said something doesn't mean you have to answer it. Just because someone disrespected you, poked at you, talked behind your back, or tried to embarrass you in front of others doesn't mean they're worth your words. Some people speak out of pain. Some people speak out of jealousy. And some people just don't know how to treat others with basic respect. That's not your problem to fix. And it's definitely not your job to give them your attention. You have to understand that responding to every little thing will drain you. There's always going to be somebody who doesn't like you, doesn't agree with you, or doesn't respect you. That's just part of life. You're not here to win over everybody. You're not here to chase approval from people who can't even approve of themselves. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stay quiet and keep moving. Let them talk. Let them assume. Let them throw their shade. Your life is not up for debate. There's a reason why silence feels uncomfortable to people who love chaos. They live off attention. They want a reaction. They want you to fight them so they can play the victim. Don't give them that. Don't hand them the power to say, "See, I knew they'd act like that." When you stay quiet, you starve their ego. You take away the game they're trying to play. And most of all, you remind them that you're on a different level. See, some people speak from a place of noise, insecurity, anger, bitterness. But you've got to learn to speak from a place of power. And sometimes power is saying nothing. Power is letting the dust settle while you keep building. Power is letting people misunderstand you and choosing not to correct them. Because you know time will show the truth. Let your character speak louder than your mouth. Let your progress speak louder than your pain. You don't owe everyone your voice. You don't have to argue your worth. You don't have to explain yourself to people who already decided to see you the wrong way. That's not strength. That's survival. And it's exhausting. You were not built to live life constantly proving, constantly defending, constantly reacting. You were built for peace, for purpose, for something much greater than petty arguments and shallow battles. When someone comes at you sideways, pause and ask yourself, does this person's opinion really matter? Is this helping me grow? Is this worth my time? Most of the time, the answer is no. So let it go. You've got more important things to focus on. You've got dreams that need your energy, goals that need your effort, and a future that needs your focus. Don't trade all that for a few seconds of shouting that won't change anything anyway. And listen, Silence doesn't mean you're okay with what they did. Silence doesn't mean you're weak or scared. Silence means you've decided to move in a way that protects your peace, not your pride. Silence means you know who you are so deeply that their words can't touch your foundation. That's the kind of strength that can't be faked. That's real power. So let the gossip happen. Let the shade get thrown. Let the whispers go on without you. If it doesn't feed your spirit, if it doesn't grow your purpose, if it doesn't build your life, leave it alone. Not every dog that barks deserves your attention. Not every fire needs your water. Let fools be fools and let your silence speak the truth. Remember this, your voice is valuable. Don't waste it on people who don't listen to understand. Don't waste it defending yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. And don't waste it trying to fix what you didn't break. Protect your energy, guard your words, and master the art of silence. Because when you know not everyone deserves a response, you start living from a place of peace. And that's where your real power begins. There's a certain kind of strength that doesn't show up in shouting, fighting, or making a scene. Real strength, the kind that turns heads and earns respect, is in the quiet decision to walk away with dignity. Not because you're weak, not because you're scared, but because you know your worth, because you know that where you're going is far more important than where you've been disrespected. Walking away with dignity isn't losing. It's choosing peace over pride and power over noise. People will push your buttons. They will test you. They will try to get a rise out of you. And the world has taught us that if someone crosses the line, you have to let them have it. You have to get loud, get even, get your revenge. But let's be real. That's exhausting. And what does it really get you? A few moments of satisfaction followed by a pile of regret. Noise that leaves your spirit feeling heavy. You don't need that. What you need is clarity, confidence, and calm. And that only comes when you decide that not every situation deserves a reaction. Walking away doesn't mean you didn't notice the disrespect. It doesn't mean it didn't hurt. It means you've grown enough to know that your reaction isn't going to change that person. Some people are committed to misunderstanding you. Some people live for conflict, and some people will never give you the apology you deserve. But you don't need closure from someone who doesn't respect you. Sometimes the closure is in the walk, the quiet exit, the silence that says, "You're not worth my peace." There's power in not matching energy. Just because someone disrespected you doesn't mean you need to stoop to their level. Matching energy sounds like strength, but it's really just surrender. You're handing them your emotions. You're letting them lead the moment. And when you do that, you're not in control anymore. But when you walk away, head held high, no drama, no shouting, no show, that's control. That's how you keep your dignity, even when they try to take it from you. And here's the truth, most people miss people watch how you leave. Not just how you enter a room, but how you exit. Your silence in the face of disrespect speaks volumes about your self-respect. Your decision to take the high road tells others that you are not to be played with, even when you don't say a word. Walking away with dignity is not just about protecting yourself in the moment. It's about building a reputation of strength, self-control, and maturity. That's a legacy worth building. I know it's not easy. When your pride is hurt, when you feel attacked, when someone tries to belittle you, every part of you wants to snap back. You want to defend yourself. You want to shout. You don't know who you're messing with, but the louder you get, the more power you give them. And they don't deserve your power. They didn't earn your attention. Let them talk. Let them assume. Let them play the fool while you take your grace, your focus, and your dignity and move on. Your silence, your ability to walk away with your head high, your decision not to engage, Those are signs that you are growing, that you're no longer living life based on how others treat you, but on how you choose to respond. And every time you walk away from drama, from disrespect, from small-minded people trying to pull you down, you prove something powerful, that your peace is not for sale. So next time you feel tempted to clap back, to throw words like fire, to get the last word, pause. Ask yourself, is this going to grow me? Is this how I want to spend my energy? Or am I better off walking away with silence and strength? Choose dignity. Choose peace, because that's not weakness, that's wisdom. And the older you get, the more you'll understand there's no greater revenge than living well, walking away and never looking back. There comes a time in life when you've got to choose. Do I want to win this argument, or do I want to protect my peace? Because the truth is, you can't have both. One gives you a temporary sense of victory, a moment where you feel like, yeah, I told them. But the other gives you something that lasts, something you can't buy, fake, or force. Peace. And once you understand how valuable peace really is, you stop trading it for little things like an ego validation or the last word. See, people will try you. They'll push your buttons, they'll come at you sideways, and they'll try to pull you into their storm. And what do? We try to prove our point. We try to show them we're right, that we're not weak, that we know what we're talking about. But let me ask you this, when it's all said and done, and you've exhausted your energy, raised your voice, lost your cool, was it worth it? Did proving your point bring you peace? Or did it just leave you frustrated, drained, and mad all over again? There's a real power in choosing silence over shouting, in choosing to walk away instead of digging in, not because you couldn't fight, not because you didn't have a strong argument, but because you knew your peace was too valuable to sacrifice. That's a grown decision. That's maturity. That's strength. You don't have to respond to every disrespectful comment. You don't have to clap back every time someone throws shade. You don't need to make people see your side, understand your heart, or realize they were wrong. Some people aren't ready to understand. Some don't want to, and some just enjoy the chaos. But you've got to protect your spirit. You've got to guard your mind. Because if you lose your peace, you lose your focus. And when you lose your focus, you lose your path. Life is too short to spend it in constant battle. Every moment you spend trying to prove your worth to someone who doesn't value you is a moment you're not using to build your dreams, love your people, or grow into the person you're becoming. Every argument you entertain takes you further from your purpose. And every time you let someone pull you into their drama, they win. Not because they were right, but because they took you off your game. You have to reach a place in your life where peace is your priority, where you look at situations and say, if this costs me my peace, it's too expensive. Let them think what they want. Let them believe their version. Let them talk. You're not in the business of changing minds. You're in the business of protecting your mind. Now, I'm not saying let people walk all over you. I'm not saying ignore everything and pretend it's fine. What I'm saying is pick your battles. Every fight is not worth it. Every conversation is not necessary. Every point is not worth proving. When you know who you are, when you're confident in your truth, you don't need to broadcast it to everybody. You just live it. And peace becomes your proof. You'll notice something powerful when you start choosing peace. You'll sleep better, think clearer, move smarter. You'll be more focused on your goals, more present in your life, and more selective about who you let in your circle. Because protecting your peace isn't just about ignoring drama. It's about being intentional with your time, your energy, and your voice. So the next time someone tries to pull you into a debate, a back and forth, a situation that feels heavy on your soul, Stop and ask yourself, is this going to build me or break me? Is this helping me or is this distracting me? And if the answer points toward chaos, choose peace, even if it means walking away, even if it means being misunderstood, even if it means they think they won. Because the real win is waking up every day with peace in your heart, focus in your mind, and no weight on your spirit. Choose peace over pride. Choose calm over chaos. Choose silence over noise. Your future self will thank you. There's something deeply powerful about staying silent and letting karma do the talking. In a world where everybody feels the need to respond, to defend, to clap back and go off, choosing to keep your peace and let life take care of the rest is a bold move. It says, I trust that I don't have to get revenge. I don't have to prove anything. The truth always finds its way to the surface. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. When someone disrespects you, talks bad about you, lies on your name, or treats you unfairly, the natural reaction is to want to strike back. You want to correct the story. You want to call them out. You want to make sure everybody knows the truth. But here's what experience teaches you. When you rise above it and stay out of the mess, karma steps in and does what you couldn't do without dirtying your hands. Life has a way of dealing with people. What goes around really does come back around. And when it does, you won't have to say a word. It's tempting to want immediate justice. We want people to pay for what they did now. We want to see them get exposed. But sometimes the most painful consequence is not public shame. Sometimes it's living with the weight of their own choices. That's a pain you don't have to deliver. You just step back, keep your head down, do what you do best, and let karma set the table. They'll be served exactly what they dished out. Not by your hand, but by their own. Letting karma do the talking doesn't mean you allow people to walk all over you. It means you're not going to waste your energy trying to fix what they broke. It means you've got more important things to focus on. You're not going to allow bitterness to take up space in your heart. You're not going to waste your days trying to chase justice. You're going to live your life in peace, knowing that nothing done in the dark stays hidden forever. Time has a way of revealing everything. And the beautiful thing is, when you take the high road, when you stay silent instead of stooping low, you keep your character intact. You stay grounded. You show yourself and the world that you're not easily shaken, that your values mean more than your pride. And that kind of strength, that's what people remember. Not the one who made the most noise, but the one who kept their dignity, stayed consistent, and let the universe handle the rest. You don't have to tell your side of the story to everyone. You don't have to post about it, talk about it, or prove your innocence to people who already made up their mind. People who are meant to be in your life will know who you are. And the ones who don't, let them believe what they want. Karma doesn't miss. It may not come today, it may not come tomorrow, but it comes. And when it does, it speaks so loud, even the ones who doubted you won't be able to ignore it. Staying silent and letting karma work is also about protecting your own peace. Carrying anger, bitterness, or resentment only weighs you down. It distracts you from your purpose. It clogs up your spirit. And let's be honest, the best revenge is not payback. It's peace. It's moving on. It's glowing up. It's becoming so focused on your growth that you don't even notice what's happening behind you. When you learn to trust that justice will come in its own way, at its own time, you free yourself. You take back your power. And that's when real healing begins. So let people say what they want. Let them do what they do. You just stay true, stay calm, stay focused, and let karma do what karma does best. Speak when you no longer need to. You don't need to explain. You don't need to react. You don't need to carry that weight. What's meant to be revealed will be revealed. What's meant to fall apart will fall apart. And what's meant for you will always find its way to you. That's the power of letting go and letting life do the talking. Keep your hands clean, your head high, and your spirit light. Karma's voice is louder than any words you could say. Let it speak, and trust that it always does.